Hey everybody, what's going on? Hellmite here, bringing another video from Grab the Lantern today. Today I wanted to talk through the ARAM 2023 preview changes and give you guys an idea of what you can be looking forward to with ARAM changes in 2023. I actually quite like a lot of the things that Riot are going to be doing with ARAM in the new year, but I do have a couple of qualms that I wanted to talk through as well. But let's go ahead and talk through the changes to start with. First up, Riot are adding a couple of global mechanical changes to ARAM. Most notably, Omnivamp and lifesteal against minions is being reduced by half, which means that it'll be significantly harder to heal yourself back up to full off of just a minion wave. It'll either take multiple waves, or you're going to have to be in combat, which should do a lot to help combat the champions that would buy lifesteal and then just lifesteal themselves to full back off the minion wave. So it's going to be a lot more lethal. The long-range damage modifier is being further increased based on distance, up to a 30% damage reduction on an ability that hits you from 2,000 distance away. Of note, remember that this doesn't affect ultimate abilities, so Karthus, feel free to Requiem to your heart's content, but it does mean that spamming Kaisas or Xeraths will see their damage start to fall off quite a bit if they're shooting at targets at maximum range. This is, I think, totally fine though, given that artillery mages usually have a field day in ARAM because of how difficult it is to dodge their skill shots. Finally, melee champions are getting slightly more bonus magic resistance to just help them tank up the hits a little bit better than everyone else while the teams are still in the sort of skirmish phase. Riot are also adding some more champion-specific balance updates that aren't just the takes more or deals more damage balance updates. They're trying to give champions a little bit more ability to actually play the game, most notably assassins. As a result of this, assassins are all gaining a free 20% tenacity, which is going to be quite nice because usually if they eat a single CC skill shot, they just kind of die from there. So the tenacity should help them a little bit with that outplay. And again, assassins are getting this because ARAM isn't really where assassins are supposed to thrive. Assassins in Summoner's Rift are more of flanking champions or split push champions. They don't really do a whole lot in team fights, and ARAM is only team fighting. So this makes sense to me. Energy champions are gaining increased bonus energy regeneration, which again makes a lot of sense. Again, this is sort of a resource that is about skirmishing and taking your time and being able to fight somebody and then back off and then fight somebody and then back off. And in ARAM, because the fighting never stops and you can never back off, you end up on a champion who has energy saying, I can't play the game. So I think this makes a lot of sense. And then finally, Ashe is receiving minus 20 ability haste in ARAM because of her ability to spam W with Imperial Mandate and slow entire teams. I think that this is funny because it shows that Riot are aware of Imperial Mandate Ashe being a problem, just in general. I don't think this is specifically an issue with ARAM, but it's nice to see that the ARAM devs at least are able to take some time out and fix Ashe in this mode specifically. Now we just have to hope that the Summoner's Rift team are able to take a look at Ashe as well. Finally, the big changes here. First up, Hex Gates are going to be on ARAM. The Hex Gates are going to connect your Nexus to your outer tower, allowing you to channel it and quickly get back into the action. And this, I think, is going to have a major impact on the way in which ARAM is played. Usually, because of how long it takes you to respawn and then walk back to where the fight's happening, teams have a lot more opportunity to push up to the tower and get some chip damage in at the very least, if they're only killing a single champion. Or potentially to just kill it outright if they're able to kill multiple champions who then all have to walk back. Conversely, with this change, because you'll only have to wait out your death timer before being able to immediately rejoin the fray, it actually is going to make ARAMs a lot harder to end or a lot harder to push through that first tower unless you're able to kill multiple enemy team members all in one go. This means that unless you're able to pick a solid team fight in which you're able to do that, it's actually going to be really kind of hard to push all the way through and get the tower down. So I think this is actually kind of a fun change, but it definitely is going to have some balance implications for ARAM as a whole because of how much more difficult it's going to be to actually take that first tower. Once the first tower goes down, the Hexgate moves permanently to your inhibitor tower and will remain there even if the inhibitor tower is taken, which gives you the ability to go for some cheeky flanks. I like it in that place. The outer tower, though, I think is potentially a little too good. Towers are also going to fall down now after they're destroyed. So this is to basically create some breaks in the straight line that is ARAM, allowing for a little bit more choke points and a little bit more terrain interaction with champions that actually care about it. Bard, for example, is going to be very excited with this change, as is potentially Cassante, who now has terrain he can actually use with his ultimate. I do really like this. I'm curious with this screenshot if you're able to actually get into the brush from around the side of the column. I think still being able to path through both sides of the fallen tower would be neat, but I can't tell quite yet. Either way, I am a fan of this because it gives a little bit more flexibility and interest to what's going on with the ARAM map. And there's also another pixel brush over here on the other side. It's just big enough for a full team of 5 champions, so you can do all the same stuff you did in brush on ARAM, just on the different side of the bridge as well, which I think will be a little nice. And there is also going to be an ARAM clash, which is fun, I guess. I don't really know how you can practice ARAM or try to be competitive about ARAM, but that's a thing. So generally, I like these changes. I really, really do. I think the problem I have is that this is a lot of dev work onto ARAM, which was always supposed to be a mode that was created by players that was just supposed to be for fun, right? It's like, we just want to play on a map that's a single lane, and that's all we really care about. It's going to be random champions, it's going to be 5-on-5 team fighting the whole time, and it's just going to be just a total ball of fun, and we're going to just enjoy it. Conversely, we've had a lot of other alternate game modes at this time that were better supported that eventually withered away, and now ARAM is getting a ton of the support as well, despite it being a for fun game mode. ARAM doesn't need any of this stuff to be more fun, but Riot are giving it the support anyways, and I wonder if this dev time wouldn't be better suited towards developing another new game mode or something else along those lines, rather than pouring more resources into a game mode that is always going to be fun because it's just 5-on-5 team fighting on a tiny map. That's sort of my one major issue with all these changes, but I generally like where they're going. I just feel like Riot should be looking at doing more actual alternate game modes, because these changes, I think, represent a desire to have different things happening on your major competitive game modes, right? Players want to be able to play in different environments and to play in different areas with different mechanics and different map designs. Like people want this. So I think it makes a lot more sense then to have Riot actually do these things, right? To try and look at it and to say, hey, guess what? We're going to make new maps that have alternate terrain and which can do fun things like collapsing towers and changing the way the map works, instead of trying to take the game mode that already has the sort of advantage of being super dumb fun and saying this is the one that we're going to put all our dev time and energy into. But that's just me complaining like the old man I am. You guys will have to let me know what you think of all these changes down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video today, go ahead and leave it a like, and if you really enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I upload a video every Monday, Friday, and on patch days as well. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'll talk to you all later.